guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Two bald guys and a microphone. Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is flowing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back, it feels good to be home.
That was a production error, but we got it. Who is sitting here? Somebody who's 7 feet tall? Jeez Louise. This is amazing. Welcome in to Two Bald Guys and a Microphone. Cool new intro there. We just hot off the press. Hot off the press.
Ken's been working on that the last 20 minutes.
There we go.
Uploaded, and I thought it sounded really good. And we are more than happy to be back.
Oh, yes, of course. Two Bald Guys brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, www.mchenrymassage.com, 815-385-8190. Also, our good friends over at J&H Events and Flowers, home of the $5 bouquet, $5 Fridays. There's no better way to surprise somebody or just add a little bit of life to your home than dropping by J&H Events Flowers. You'll see them pop up back here. But yeah, good stuff.
And if you mention, was it Tom?
Yeah, Tom's Productions right behind you. Yep.
There it is. You mentioned Tom's Productions.
He'll pay for them.
He'll even pick up the $5. So, get some free flowers and
there you go.
Get some free love.
Yeah, some free love. That's awesome.
I got to see how what a wonderful job they do at your daughter's wedding.
Wow. Yeah, they did a great job. It was amazing. Amazing for sure.
How was your week?
Good couple of weeks. We were off last week. Just busy after the wedding and some meetings and whatnot. So good week. Everything's going well. Blessed. And how about you?
I had you had called me last week to assist with the celebration of life for Coach Chuck Chick. Winter. Kevin Winter passed away in a motorcycle accident. So Monday night was the celebration of life, and it was true celebration. 250 people there. It was catered by Crandall's, so the food was amazing and just a good send off. I didn't know Coach Winter well. I played against him a couple of times, but you don't get to know him. But we were kindred spirits in a lot of things as we're going through the memories.
Absolutely. And of course, what we do is we always talk about try to uplift, change the world a little bit. We have talked a lot in the past about the happy place. Go to your happy place. So what we really wanted to just touch base with is, what is your happy place? What is a happy place? What exactly is that?
I mean, for each of us, we have our own individual happy places.
Yeah.
For me, one of them is out on my bike. I get out and get on the trail or get somewhere, and I can just relax. I've been teaching and bringing to my clients for a number of years a program called the Happiness Advantage that was developed by a positive psychologist by the name of Sean Acor. And it really does make a difference. One of the things he says, we have the formula all messed up. We believe once we become successful, we'll be happy. But the problem with that is success is always moving, and if success is moving and you never quite achieve it. And happiness is on the other side of success. We never quite achieve happiness. So what he says in there, what we'll talk about today, is work to be happy. Find a way to be happy. Find that happy place. I know where it is for you. We've talked about it 100 times. That in the gym, the squeaking of shoes, and every time you mention that, it brings me back to that same arena. But there's an opportunity, and I found a couple of features to talk about how to identify a happy place. So why don't you talk about your happy place for a second and how that came to be? And
well, I mean, there's several happy places, and I suppose what is the reason to find a happy place, right? you know, basically, when you are looking for a happy place, you're looking for a pattern interrupt.
Right.
Right. You're looking to, um, you're looking to, to switch your brain, switch the thought pattern, perhaps, of your brain. Um, my daughter got married, and she's my oldest daughter. It's my first kid to get married. And there's all these emotions, right? It was a very, very heavy day. And there was no happy place to go to. That was the happy place.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
And then on Sundays I'm sitting there and still emotional and crying, and I had to stop for a second. I had to pattern interrupt and go, what am I crying about? She's 20. So this was her picture perfect wedding. It was an amazing day. But I kept focusing back on when she was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's not. I don't go through life looking at her as that 5-year-old girl, right? So I had to do that. I had to switch gears. I had to do a pattern interrupt and go, wait a minute, enjoy this for her, get excited for her. This is awesome for her. Nothing's really changed. Her last name has changed. Jake has been part of the family for 8 years. I mean, it is what it is. But sometimes we have to pattern interrupt, and I couldn't go to a quote unquote happy place. There's a lot of places for me that bring me peace, that bring me joy, that I'm comfortable in, that is good. But at that moment, I had to pattern interrupt and say, I need to change the story that's going on in my brain, because it's not sad. I'm excited for her. I'm excited for them, and so I had to say, here we go, and people are like, oh, you gave your daughter. I didn't give her away. I don't own her. Right. I didn't give her away. So I think a lot of what we need to do, a lot of what we do, you have to be able to pattern interrupt. And when you speak about go to your happy place, that's the pattern interrupt. Right. So it really doesn't matter, does it?
But it goes back to the reboot. The first thing you have to do is recognize the pattern, that you're in a pattern. And, you talked about that a little bit. But once you recognize it, you can do something about it. But until you recognize it, you really can't. So let's run through the acronym real quick, as long as you got it up there. The R is recognize. Recognize that something needs to change. The E
is educate. Once you found something that like in this case for me, I had to recognize that it was a happy time. Yeah. Then I had to educate myself on how not to be sad. Right.
Yeah.
And how do you do that? You start focusing on what it is. You focus on the present, you focus on the future. So you got to educate yourself. It doesn't always mean cracking a book. Education means sometimes just sitting back and observing. Right?
Well, life's best lessons are the mistakes that we make, right?
That's it.
There's a whole show on that one.
That's it. And the B stands for?
No, it's about believe. And, our resident expert on Believe, Damon K. Bross, will be here in a few minutes. And the point is, once you recognize that the changes need to make, you educate yourself on how to do them, then you have to believe that you're doing the right thing. If you're not all in, then the changes aren't going to be effective.
Right.
The first O in reboot is
the old operating system. Right. And that's to understand what software you have downloaded and that it needs that reboot. That why am I thinking the way I was? So if we go back to the situation with Ashley, is I'm thinking of when she was a child. Yeah. Now it's been years and years and years. You see a memory pop up, or you see a picture and it takes you back. But I'm like, why am I living in the past right now when I should be right here enjoying the moment?
One of the most emotional moments for you as I was watching you wasn't Ashley, as when your younger daughter was giving her
her
speech.
Yeah, that's where I got my Michael Jordan cry face meme. I mean, Colette Colette's my tough one, and when she broke down, I was like, "Woo, yeah,
that
it was tough."
that
Yeah,
that second O is about orchestrate.
yeah,
You've got to orchestrate your life. You know, in the military, went to the officer candidate school, learned a lot about leadership. I've taught a lot about leadership. But what no one really brought to me is you've got to be able to lead yourself. You got to be able to orchestrate yourself. Once you can take over control of your own actions, thoughts, and activities, then you can affect those around you. So you've got to orchestrate your life. You got to start with you, and then you got to branch out to those around you. The T in reboot is
test. No, it doesn't work if you don't test it. You got to test it. You got to fail. You got to trip. You got to fall. You got to realize what made you trip, what made you fall. You got to realize, why do I keep falling? And you have to test again and figure out and how to step over that. And as long as you keep trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, then change is going to set in, which is nice.
The Happiness Advantage, the Happiness Project, call it what you want. A few years ago, I got contacted to speak at DeVry University Keller Graduate School of Management to the professors of the school. Had about 75 professors, and I knew I need to have, you know, some background information because they're gonna check up. You can't just walk in there and make stuff up. I found an article called "The 31 Benefits of Gratitude." You know, high happiness and gratitude together. They both have that same effect on us. It gets the body producing dopamine. So when you can get the body producing the dopamine, that happy hormone, you get that peaceful feeling on the inside, things start to change. You know, you mentioned, you know, that positive mindset. But how do you change that when we're stuck and mired in the muck of this world? All the news out there that you'll never hear on 216 The Net.
That's right.
And we get caught in all this garbage. How can we get out of that?
Well, and that's why, you know, that's why the show is, where is your happy place? So where is that pattern interrupt? What is it that gets you out of a funk? Look who just walked in.
Ladies and gentlemen, Damon
K.
Ross. Now it's a happy place.
That's right.
Always a happy place.
That's right. You know, that's why I say there's too many happy places for me, right? I mean, I can go to the gymnasium, you know, the squeak of the shoes, the smell of sweat, you know, the bounce of a ball, because that was, you know, my first love as a kid was that sport. So I can go into, I can smell it in my mind. You know what I mean? Everything about the gym is incredible to me, right? Especially this time of year, they've laid down the new sealant on the floor, right. So man, your shoes squeak, they stick. You're like, I'm not sliding. This is nice. Right. So there's a lot. See, there's a lot that I can go to. The other is there's no place I'd rather be than sitting next to water, whether it's a lake, whether it's a river, you know, by myself. I don't need houses. I don't want boats zipping up and down, you know what I mean? Right. That's also a happy place for me. Now, one of my favorite places on earth is, you know, I call it the lid. You know, we covered our patio, you know, so I've got my bar. It's kind of my man cave. But when I get home from work, I go and sit there because I can look out and there's nobody in my backyard. There's no houses behind me, right? It's just country. And I can just sit there and be happy, right? And the other is I can get on my motorcycle, right? And if I had a horrible day, if I get on my motorcycle and ride, happy, right? Because I have to be focused right now on the motorcycle. It's scary, right? Everybody's like, oh, it's so relaxing. No, it's not relaxing at all. You know, a deer is going to run out, a raccoon, I don't know, a dog. Somebody's going to turn and hit me, right? We just talked about a good buddy who died in a motorcycle accident. Right. And you're just like, so I tell people, I'm like, no, it's not relaxing at all, but it's freeing. Right, because you have to be very present. You have to. I can't be thinking of anything else other than what's going to kill me. Right. So I have a ton of happy places, and some of them I don't know are so much happy places or escapes.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things as we were talking about the topic, or you know, talking about it today, is being very careful about that happy place and using it as an escape.
Yep.
Because a lot of us, we do that because whatever we're dealing with is too hard, or we don't have the skills to deal with certain tough situations. So we escape to that happy place.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be a place to reboot,
Right.
as opposed to a place of escape.
Right.
I'm with you. I mean, there's no dissension here. That's why it's a happy place.
Well, and chemical brain freeze, you
Right.
and you tout, hey, stop, go to your happy place,
Breathe. Stop,
Right.
Breathe.
right? So where are you telling people to? I mean, you telling them to escape? Hey, listen, stop, escape. Get the hell out.
Well, in that case, it's part of chemical brain freeze. And the one thing that I when I'm teaching this is you have to have a specific happy memory that you can go back to, even when the fecal matter's hitting the rotating blades, right?
Sure.
You've got to have that memory. And for me, it was always state track meet. I can go back there in a second. I can just picture myself coming around that final curve and sprinting to the exchange zone and going on and
Your knees start to hurt because you're
everything. I handed off the baton and I puked for
That's
like
it.
the next 2 minutes. It
Morning,
was
Phil.
it was just one of those things. But that when the crowd came to their feet, I can still picture that, and it still starts creating that moment.
Yeah.
Now that's that happy memory that I can go to, but that's just it. It's a memory. A happy place is more of it's a physical place where you can go and you can sit and you can be. So now maybe you've got a great imagination. Maybe you're good at meditation. I'm not. Turning my brain off is a difficult thing to do, right?
Well,
But go ahead.
meditation is not about turning your brain off, and that's
Wow.
I know.
Right.
I understand, because I was the same way when I first started, and because we think we're supposed to turn your brain off, and you're not. You're supposed to let it be free and then learn how to observe the thoughts, because you can't shut your brain off like this. You can't.
No. You don't want to. I mean, those people are dead.
But I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Well, right, to release it, and because I'm trying to control the thoughts, not just let them flow, and
Yeah.
you can't, and you're
Exactly.
sitting here like, oh crap, I forgot to do this, and it's a difficult thing to do.
It is.
for most people, and getting to that moment. But when you can have a happy place, and like Ken said, one of my favorites, and I haven't done enough of it lately, is sitting on a bank with a worm on a hook in the water.
Mhm.
One of my favorite cartoons, and I had it on the refrigerator for years. Older man sitting there fishing, a little boy comes up behind him, and in the next caption, the little boy says, "What you doing, mister?" And he says, "I'm fishing." He goes, "And if I catch anything, it'll be better."
Right. Yeah.
And it's just the fishing, just sitting there. And one morning I just got in my boat, and I couldn't get anybody to go out in the boat with me that morning. I'd only had it for a day, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to get the boat in the water, So I get the boat in the water, and it was a struggle getting the boat in by yourself, and getting the trailer out and doing all that. And I finally got out. It's about 6:15, 6:20 in the morning, and there's a spot in the Fox River that's got a deep drop off, and the walleye and the catfish. It's just a really good fishing spot.
Little honey hole, they call
Right.
it.
So I get out there and I get set. I drop the anchor. I got one line down for catfish at the bottom. I'm casting the lure with the other line. All of a sudden I hear and about 400 boats came flying down. It was a fishing tournament day. And it was just like, are you kidding me? Well, I'm sitting right in the middle of one of the best walleye spots in the entire
It's little
river.
dingy.
These guys, they want to troll through there. And I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not moving. And you got to move. No, I'm not moving. I was here first. And it turned into not a happy place, but it was I did catch quite a few fish that day.
Nate says his happy place would be the same happy place as Happy Gilmore's happy place. I don't know where is that?
Golf course.
Yeah, I don't know.
I miss my Happy Gilmore
Right.
drive.
I mean, there's So to me, again, I talk a lot about bumper stickers, and that's the way, bumper sticker motivation, bumper sticker theology. I mean, everything is a quick quote, quick hit right now. Right. And the truth of the matter is, this what I've been focusing on since my birthday is understanding that I'm in my happy place all the time.
Yep.
Right. So what to me becomes an unhappy place is the past or the future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that creates anxiety for me. Right. I should have done it this way.
Yep.
I could have done it this way. Or I go to, oh my God, I'm nervous. Is what's going to happen next month? Are we going to have enough to pay the rent? You know what I mean? Everything starts adding up. And if I'm out over my skis or behind my skis, I find that that's where a lot of my anxiety and I don't want to say fear, but just the right, the tightening up of muscles comes. And what I'm really focused on since my birthday, because I always challenge myself, is how do you stay present? How do you stay mindful right here in the now?
Yep.
And that's why I'm doing the mantra as well. It's like today I will not get angry. It's just about being able to say, where am I at? Why am I getting crazy here?
That is a very important thing to notice, is that you, even with having your happy place, whatever that is, and for those who have very vivid imaginations, if it is a physical place, you can imagine yourself being there. But at the end of all of it, you are where you are.
Right.
So that happy place really does lie within us, because if you physically go to a happy place, you are there.
Yeah.
If you go to a happy place in your mind, you're still right where you are.
Yeah.
So your happy place is always with you.
Yeah, it has to be.
It has to be.
It has to be. Right. And that's so I'm working with a new group of coaches, and I'm the guy who I'm like, I need everything A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Right now, the group that I'm working with, it's alphabet soup.
G-A-D-F.
So I'm trying to communicate, like, okay, do we have a Google Calendar? Do we have this for everybody? How are we doing this? When are when is this? When is this? When is this? Right. And so as I want the alphabet to be A through Z, they're just dumping the can in the bowl. Right. And that's difficult for me, because now I have to, what's going to happen tomorrow? Who do I have to talk to tomorrow? What, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of being able to go, here's the calendar today, here's what I can do, right? Here's what I have to do.
Right.
So
It says another happy place is the China buffet.
for some, step up and get a COVID with a side of chow mein. So that's why I go back to the mantra. I will not get angry today. I will not worry today. I will be grateful today. I will work hard and smart today. Right. That's one of the big ones. I will work hard and smart today. I'll be kind to everything. I will not judge anything. Right. So I say this 3 times every day. Right. And the interesting thing while I'm doing this is I always look at it. I haven't put it into memory yet, because I don't, for whatever reason, my mind doesn't want it to be rote. You go to church, our Father who art in heaven.
Right.
You know what I mean? When it becomes rote, it
loses its power.
It's not sticking. Right. Yeah. And so for whatever reason, my mind or my focus on this has said, don't memorize it. But there are times where I'm like, I will be grateful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That it comes out at a certain time. Right.
Well, it's funny you say that, because when I was writing down the features of a happy place, the first one is a place where people don't judge. And I think, whether we're judging or being judged, that takes us off that happy place. Yeah. And that's one of the difficult things. Somebody who's very important in my life finds it necessary to judge everything. Oh, they shouldn't have done
Mhm.
it that way. Oh, you know,
Oh.
do you believe they're driving that way? And I'm like, let it go. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
I just did that this morning.
That guy's drinking a little early.
I was that guy. You know, when I come in, it's 25 miles an hour, and they put up a new solar thing that says, you know,
How
Mhm.
you're
fast or
going, right?
whatever. And so I turn, and of course, I wasn't in a hurry to get here. You know, I had plenty of time. So I'm going 25, and this Cadillac comes sucking up right behind me, and I was like, "Oh, sorry, bud." I'm not stepping on this gas. I put it in cruise so I wouldn't go faster. And then as we went by the sign, it's like 25. Thank you. I was like, yeah.
But going to the quotes that you're
Yeah.
reading every day. So when you made the decision to do this, was it I'm going to recite these every day or read these every day?
I just read these every day.
Okay, so that's why your brain is doing that, because
Yeah.
that's what the command was.
Okay.
Is to read these every day. So you're honoring what you said you would do.
Yeah. So it's read it 3 times with meaning every day. So I do.
Yep.
Right. But there are times that I'll go, oh, okay. I will not be angry. You know. So I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Here we
When
go.
the Cadillac comes up on your tail.
Right. No, I actually love Cadillacs. It was a really nice Cadillac too. If I had a luxury car, that's why I'd go with the Cadillac. I'm not a Mercedes or a Beamer guy. Give me a good old fashioned Cadillac.
I love my Beamer.
We'll be
Yeah.
all right. So yeah. So I mean, where is your happy place? You guys are saying it's right here. It's with you. It's you know. Is it a memory? Is it a place? Is it you know?
It can be a place, and you know, I would challenge people to go out and explore. You know, see what, because I had no idea. Like when you were talking about sitting by the water, I had no idea how much that is a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
Because I my thing, and I still say it to this day, I'm a classic indoorsman.
Yeah.
But one of my places is there's a spot that I found by the lake across from where I live, and you know, I was looking like, because I wanted to get close to the water, and part of that is from going to St. Louis. So when I go to my parents' house, you know, I want to keep up with my walking, so I go walking. And so a few years ago, I started walking down by the pond that's in the neighborhood. Thing has been there because we moved there when I was in 4th grade, so I was like around 9-10 years old. Never went down to the pond in all those years. Never went down there. And then when I started walking, I walked past there, and I was like, man, this is pretty cool. So every time for my walk, and I walk all different directions, but every time I make sure I go and I walk down by the pond. And now I found a spot there where I go and sit and meditate, you know, when I stop. But, you know, get out and explore and, you know, find some things, especially if you can get outdoors.
Well, I mean, you grew up where, down in St. Louis area? Yeah. I mean, so you're right on the mighty Mississippi. So water there, I grew up on the Mississippi as well, in the Iowa, you know, up in Iowa. So water there is different. That's you know, that's a busy thoroughway. It's an angry river. I mean, right? So it's like you ain't going down there, right? You don't, because people get swept away.
Oh yeah.
You know, so at that point, how we grew up on the Mississippi was this ain't Tom Sawyer, Huck Finn. You don't go down there because you know.
Well, if you notice how many pictures are at that spot right there, 304.
Yeah.
That's the St. Louis Arch. Every time we go to Dallas to visit my son or come home to see the arch, I take a picture of it. You know, in different weather situations, raining, sun reflecting off of it. That arch is one of the happy places while we're driving, because it says, you know, we've hit this milestone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think milestones in life do become a happy place for us as well.
Okay.
When we're moving, but you mentioned St. Louis, and you grew up near the arch. You probably saw the thing all the time. And the first time I saw it, I was like, "Whoa,
oh yeah,
so cool!" And then we took the boys. Our sons were like, I don't know, 12 and 14, and let's go up in the arch. And you know, and so you ride the little roller coaster or whatever, up to the top, and then you get up at the top, and you feel the thing wavering a little bit.
Have you ever been?
I've never been in it. I've been to it, but I've never been in it.
That's definitely worth going once.
Yeah, I mean, I sit there and go, I don't want to wait in line with a bunch of people that irritate me.
There wasn't much of a line when we were there.
Well, back when it was being built, I understand that, Coach. What does Nate have to say? Nate says, went to an outdoor wedding last year. I went missing towards the end of the wedding. Took a lawn chair and a few beers and passed out by the water. I'd say that was a happy place until they sent a search party for me and woke me up. That was a happy place for you.
Well, what he didn't mention was he was the groom.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oops. Yeah.
That's fine. So do you guys recommend having multiple? Because I know you said you have multiple, having multiple happy places that you can put the picture to while you're where you are.
Well, you're talking about the mental happy place, or
yes.
Yeah, for me, there are several of them throughout the years. I talk about the state track meet because that's one that I've locked in on for chemical brain freeze. When I feel that, stop, breathe, go to my happy place, ask myself that question: how important is it? But as far as others, the phone now, Google sends you a memory. 8 years ago today, boom,
Right.
A picture of James came up the other day. Now James is going into his senior year. He's almost 6'2". He's just this young stud athlete, and this picture comes up with his little flowing blonde hair. It was, it was a happy place for a moment, and I'm even happier when I sent it to him to get his reaction. But there's a lots of happy memories, but having that specific place, I think it's important to have that area that you can go to. My thought.
So I still think, quote unquote, the quote happy place, unquote, right, is it's a pattern interrupt, right? So, and I guess and I'm odd, right, because
All in favor?
I'm odd because I'm really focusing on mindfulness this year, right? Understanding the moment, what is happening. Right. When Jesus walked this earth, he was in the moment. Right. And that was a lot of why people are like, oh, right. He was just very present. And Buddha, same way, the Zen Buddhist, it's like, let's be right here, right now. Let's not be 2 seconds from now. Let's not be 2 seconds ago.
Right.
So for me, that's why, I love these shows that we do too, because each show you have to be into this microphone. You have to be right here in this conversation. I can't be thinking about a 3-man weave or a press breaker, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever, or worrying about where I'm going to get my next, mortgage, whatever the case may be. I have to be here. I have to be very, very present. And so, do you have many happy places? No, I agree with you. I think your happy place is right here, right now with you. We can pull out any sort of memory that makes us feel good, or we can choose to pull out any memory that makes us feel bad. But it's a pattern interrupt. It's a pattern break. Why am I thinking or feeling this way? Why am I getting heated at the 16-year-old working at Kohl's? Because I'm tired, right? You know what I mean? Honestly, right? So last Friday, Ashley and Jacob need to be picked up at O'Hare. We've got a house full of presents, so we fill and we've got Ashley's Jeep and her dogs. So we fill up our car with all the presents. I take her Jeep, the dogs, and we go down to their house, which is down Wooddale anyway, down where they make the radio flyers, closer to the city. And so we take her dogs, we drop them off, we unload the car, and then we head over to O'Hare and we pick them up. And then they're hungry, right? Because they got in at 4:30. You got to go through customs because they're coming from Mexico. So it wasn't like until 6:30. We're sitting in the cell phone lot, like, And then they're like, "We're hungry. Let's go to Panda." And I'm like, "You really have an issue with Panda Express?" What? I go, "You got empty cups in your car from Panda, whatever." So we go to Panda, and the young lady, we go through the drive-through. Thanks for Panda. You could just tell she's irritated. Her whole energy It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's 6:30 on Friday. This is dinner rush hour, right? In the city. So, so I order, my wife's like, I'll take a bowl, half rice, half chow mein or whatever. And then she's like, we're out of chow mein now. Don't have enough. So it's going to be a 10-minute wait. This is the tone coming out of the little speaker. And so I look at my wife and I'm like, whatever. You want to wait 10 minutes? I'll just take rice. She says, all right, nope, just 100% rice. Thank you. So we pull up, to the window, and when we get there, there's the young lady, and I go, hey, how was your energy? Big smile on my face. And she's, what? Well, I'm a little tired, been running all day. Oh, you've been working all day? Yeah, been here since noon or whatever,
Right.
And I go, oh, okay, man, it's good for you, making good money, I'm sure. Yeah, money, so I'm just talking to her. I pattern interrupt her, right? Is basically what I'm doing to get her out of her funk, right? And she says, okay, you had the bloppity bloppity blop. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. And she hands it to me and I go, hey, she kind of looks at me. I go, thanks for making dinner for me and my family. Really appreciate that. Right. And the look on her face and her whole energy, you could feel changed, right? Like, oh, wow, this guy really kind of appreciates what I did, right? Meanwhile, I'm sure she's like, well, we're low, and she's used to a fight. What do you mean you're low?
Right.
So what I became maybe for her was a happy place that day, right?
At least that moment.
Right? Because it's just pattern interrupt, get her out. I'm not going to beat you down, right? And I was very grateful that they made dinner for us, right?
When we went down and visited Ron Hostry down at the ranch in Greenville, I had to leave a day early.
Sean, how are you, buddy?
And I had to go get a different backpack. The one I brought with me, something broke, or I forget why we were out. So Ron and I went out to the store and just went into Ross or someplace and bought a backpack. And we get to the counter, and Ron would do this wherever we're at. I'd get up there and somebody like you're talking about, and he'd just look at him and go, how can I make your day better? It just stops people in their tracks. And I know you do that all the time. You do it every time I talk to you. And I'm like, you can't make my day better right now. But it is that pattern interrupt. But I go back to recognizing the pattern.
Yeah.
The girl, we're at a fast food chain here in McHenry that shall remain unnamed. But the kids were talking about how he got arrested. I mean, for marijuana while they're working behind the counter and getting our order, waiting for our order. And they're, those cops got it out for me. And I'm like,
yes, they do, son.
Cops always have it out for criminals.
That's right. Interesting, isn't it? I mean, unless you're elected. Never mind. That's a whole different thing. But yeah, there's the idea for me is sometimes I want to be somebody's happy place. If I can come in and just spit a little ray of sunshine into your day, to me that's a wonderful thing, because that's that energy exchange and it moves into a different direction.
Sean Grimes just checked in with good morning. Sean is definitely a young man who's one of my happy places. Just whenever I talk to Sean, he was started coaching him when he was in 8th grade, and throughout 7 years in the Marine Corps, and now as it goes through life, just been able to stay in touch with this young man, and he has fought and won so many battles. It's just, Sean, good to see you here, brother.
Yeah. So where is your happy place? So if I were to if you had to choose, what is your, where, not what, where is your happy place?
One of the places I just love to go and sit is the top of the Camelback at Chain Lakes, or Glacial Park over in Ringwood, just north of Ringwood, south of Richmond. You get up on the top there and you can just see for miles and just sit there, and the view is always different. The clouds, the swamp is high, the swamp is low, the creek is flowing. It's always different, and you have to work to get there. You can't just drive and you got to walk up a hill and you get to the top. So that's one of the places I like to go and sit think, write, do things.
Nice. How about you?
Yeah, like I said, it's a little
Hello.
spot I found, and I know it's probably weird because of the way the trees come down. So just where my mind goes. I know people probably look and go, I wonder if that guy's going around there to take a piss.
Right. Yeah.
But and that's part of it because it is somewhat secluded.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to the water, not as close as I would like, but it's just a perfect spot. So I take my shoes and socks off, get my feet on the earth,
Ground yourself. Yeah.
and just relax. And it's
Phil Nostrino
Yeah.
will tell you about that.
absolutely,
will.
Energy.
absolutely.
Yeah, to me, I mean, I've got several, right? Like I said, the lid, I go to the lid right behind my house. I've got some music rolling. We've got solar Edison lights that pop. I don't have to worry about anything. Just boop, right? Is ready to go. Up in the UP on Ice Lake, that's where my mother was born. I've got a huge connection to that. We go up there once a year. And there's just a piece about it, right? And I don't know if it's because that's where my lineage comes from, right? But there's a connection there that's pretty deep. We stay at my godmother and godfather's home, and they're passed now, but my cousin lives there, so she always opens up, says, "Yeah, you guys come hang out anytime you want." And so that's a huge happy place. Man Camp, right? But again, it's up on the Wisconsin River, 3.5 acres in the woods, maybe one bar on your phone. And I go there for 4 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, come back Monday. So 4.5 days. And, it's just, I'm there. Right. But at the same time, I can walk into a gym at any day. The squeak, the smell, just here it is. Right. So I've got several, but to me, it's always, and I always go back to, what I've learned from Phil, is when I go out on the lid or I'm at any of those places, I don't have shoes on. I take the shoes off. My feet are on the ground. I'm trying to understand the energy. You know what I mean? So in those places, it's about getting away, I guess, for me, from the craziness of life, the craziness of electronics, the energy exhaustion, I guess. If that makes sense.
Got a couple of comments up there. Good morning, Shayna. It's always good to hear from you.
What does she say?
It's a mistake to think some people don't enjoy inflicting their negativity on people. That's a whole show all by itself. But
we all know those people who aren't happy unless they're unhappy or arguing. Right. That could be their happy place. Everything's good from a hammock. Yeah, you can't. I don't know if I've ever been in a hammock where everything wasn't good. Nate says that's why I got a dog. No matter what, he's always happy to see me. I'm his happy place. Now that transitioned into my son. I look at him and he lets out a huge smile. I want you to remember that when he's a teenager. that boy ain't gonna come running like that dog. I'll tell you that, right? No,
might get lucky though.
Yeah, and Drew, good morning, brother. Glad to have you with us. So I mean, so kind of what Nate's saying is happiness or happy place is unconditional love, right? But oddly enough, we have unconditional love for our parents, but oddly enough, out of us three, we didn't go, well, it's my parents, or it's my children. We all have children, right? Yeah. And you have unconditional love, just like he's saying, for your child, but that wasn't any of our happy places.
Yeah, that was growing up on a farm in Nebraska. There wasn't unconditional love there at times with my father. It was work. We were sure it was the family business, and if things weren't going right, he let you know it.
Sure.
And maybe that was his form of unconditional love, but
well, he had to love you a lot to give you that lesson. Yeah. Right? I mean, you think about that. Yeah. He chose to give you that lesson because he loved you a lot. And look at the man you've become. Look at the coach you've become. because of those lessons,
There's a
right?
Are we taking notes? Because there's a lot of shows. Number 5 on my list is Unconditional Love. So you're covering the list here.
Yeah. Hey, listen,
Yeah.
it's time for Believe.
Believe.
Monte
I
Ross.
wonder who could talk to us about.
I don't know. I think I saw a guy on the hallway.
And I had the other slides up. I really believed that we would have hit, but we just got into this conversation. So I believe that we'll hit Believe right now.
Yeah, just as we've been talking about, just focusing on the belief in self, and understanding that you have the power within you to get where you want to go. You have the power to get to a happy place, because that happy place lies within yourself. It's not about things. It's not about places. Can we have places that we go to that will assist? Absolutely. But it's you making the decision, you making the call to go to those places. When we have those pattern interrupts, you're making the decision to go to those happy places, to pull those memories to help you switch and shift whatever your thinking is. But ultimately, it lies within yourself. You are your happy place, because wherever you go physically, wherever you go mentally, you are there. So remember that you are your happy place. You have the power to shift those thoughts, shift your physiology, move your physical place to get to where you want to be, to put yourself in the right frame of mind, to be able to make the necessary steps and changes that you need to make. And that is Damon K. Ross with Always Believe in You.
Wherever you go, you are there.
Well, but honestly, those places that I said are my favorite places because I'm there.
Yeah.
Right. I don't see those places without me being there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. I see me in those places. So it's very interesting that you would say that you are your happy place.
You got to be there.
That's pretty right. Which then you look back and go, okay, so maybe it's me that's my happy place.
There you go.
But going back to that, wherever you go, you are there. Are you really, if you're allowing your mind, going back to what you said, being present in the moment? I don't know if most people are there physically. My body may be here, but where's my mind? Right? As a general manager now back in the working world, are my employees here? Are they doing that? Well, I have no control over that sitting there unless they happen to be listening. And if you're listening, get back to work. But that's another point.
Unless you got your pods in.
That's right.
Keep going.
But the whole point to being there, it cannot be a happy place if you can't release the stuff, the garbage that's going on.
Listen, speaking about happy places, like, share, follow 216 out on YouTube. We're really trying to push our YouTube. So like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell. Later today, we've got Metaphysical Meanderings with Master Psychic Lana Duncan Hartgraves. And then tomorrow, we've got Roger That Chronicles. It is a show for veterans, by veterans. Absolutely great show. Friday, of course, we've got The Grounds with Giles and Jones. We've got Innovative Strategies with Bill Hasse. We've got The Neighborhood Pulse. We've got In the Know with Steph and Joe. Just so many things. We got The Rejects on Sunday. We've got Lisa Flint Living Outside the Box on Sunday morning at 9. Just so many good things happening right here. You want to talk about a happy place? This is a great one. But like, follow, subscribe so that you can be alerted when good things are happening. Nate asked a good question. Do you ever want to share your happy place?
Well, I think at times my happy place is when my wife and I are there together. So if that's what you're talking about, sharing it with her, there's times when it's our happy place is my happy place. There are times when it's not.
Yeah,
that's just, I think, a fact of life.
Yeah, there are times that you want to do that, with the caveat and remembering that you are there, so it's still your happy place. But one of my happy places I didn't mention, as you said, we don't talk about things, is I have a group of cousins. I love all of my cousins, but there's a group of us that try to get together. There's 5 of us. We're all around the same
Yep.
age. Our dads are all first cousins, and
Okay,
so
pretty tight.
we're real close. So when I get to be with them, I'm in a very happy place.
Yeah.
So that's a shared space. So yeah, you do want to do that from time to time, but just remembering that you're there. So
the way that I would answer that, and I think this is the way you're going as well, is the answer is absolutely understanding that it's not going to mean the same to whoever you're sharing it with, and you can't expect them to be like, oh,
Right.
whoa,
right.
wow, I feel it, right?
You were
Because
so right, Damon. This is so cool.
right, because when I share that, let's say I share it with y'all, and you're like, yeah, it's okay,
Yeah.
right? Then I feel let down, like, you, what
Right.
you know what I mean? What are you talking about? Right. So I think I can't expect it to be your happy place, right?
Yeah,
so yes,
exactly.
absolutely. For this is our 21st year of a group of us going to man camp, right? And that's I've got all of these pictures and whatnot in my hashtag pocket computer, and I can go back there, and it means something to me. Right. And we're going to take Drew, for instance. I invite everybody. Drew is going to come with us this year. Right now, Drew is the South Side of Chicago guy. Right. He's probably a little nervous going out into the woods with a bunch of us. All right. Now, I know he enjoys nature. Right. I do know that about him. But I just want to share what I've done for 21 years with a guy who's become a really good friend of mine. Right. Now, if we invite you, once you come, and it's the same way at my house. Once you've been into my house, now your family, just come in, make yourself at home, right? I'm not going to wait on you. He's going to come, and he's either going to be like, I absolutely love this and I want to show up every year. Or he's going to be like, yeah, right? No hard feelings either way.
Yep.
Right? But we do have people who now look forward to this that have come, not every year, but man, if they can get off, they come.
Right.
I old basketball Winks who we played basketball together, and we were pretty tight, and then we kind of lost, and now he comes up, from Iowa. So I mean, we get people traveling. We've had a guy come up from Texas, just to hang out for those 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So it does, but it may not mean the same, and I can't be upset if you don't, if it's not your happy place,
right?
If that makes sense.
Yep.
Because then it wouldn't be your happy place.
Right. What does Shayna say here? The ability to conjure a happy place in your mind can be a powerful protection against the society and chaos. Sanity is important when people become unruly.
Are people unruly?
I haven't met any.
Yes, and that's why I say it's a pattern interrupt, right? Mm-hmm. It's a pattern interrupt. But at no point are we saying go there and hide.
Right. Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. You're going to go there to get that good feeling, that the endorphins going, oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Deep breath. Here we are. This place relaxes me, or this happy moment, whatever it is that you're calling, quote unquote, your happy place. And you're going, okay, right? For that brief second, for that brief moment. We're not saying, listen, conjure up that happy place and go live there.
Right.
Right. In your mind.
Right.
I mean, you want to go live there, move there and live off the land or wherever your happy place is. Cool. I can't live in a gymnasium. Right. That's one of my happy places. That'd be weird. What's the guy doing? Right.
Who's the old guy sleeping in the corner?
Yeah.
You got the shower.
So yeah, I think it is. But then what happens, Shayna, is you shift your energy. Your energy shifts. Now it shifts, and now I'm projecting better energy into the universe, into that world of chaos.
Right. Because when you go, if you use it as an escape and you go in your mind to that happy place, and now your expectations shift, the real world is going to show up.
Yeah.
And when that real world shows up, you are going to be in total disarray, and it just won't be good for you.
Right. Well,
You
that's why I
know?
say, a good Christians will say the devil plays hard against the, Jesus's warriors who things are so suit up in your armor. Non-Christians will say, once you start moving in a good direction, the world's going to throw everything at you to try to not get you. If you understand the energy, when things are going good, I've got great positive energy. Well, for every positive energy, there's got to be a negative energy,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be thrown at you, right? So it's going to be like, magnets, right?
Well, but life does get thrown at us. The other day, as I was preparing for the celebration for life, I got my sound system set up, got tested it, everything was going good. Got home and I realized a friend of mine had asked to talk earlier in the day, and I'm like, sure, I'll call you back in a half hour. Well, it's 6.5 hours later. Better make that call. And got the call, and it was not good news. It was very difficult news with the big C involved in it. And I was sitting there going, I got so busy all day, I didn't call a friend. I mean, eventually I called a friend. I called him.
Yeah.
But I didn't call him because I got so caught up in everything that was going on. And I know that's easy to do, but I hung up and I just cried. I mean, I just released the emotions, and it's like, it's going to be fine. I mean, they found it early, he's going to be okay. But it's just that moment in time that just took things away. And as I sat there, the first thing I did was, all right, stop, breathe, go to my happy place. And things changed like almost instantly. But life is going to throw the crap at you.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got to be able to, your initial emotions are going to be, I don't care how many times you've been to your happy place, when stuff happens, you're going to be like, but then stop, breathe. You've got a choice. How are we going to fight this? I've checked the mortality tables. None of us are getting out of here alive.
None of us.
So I guess what I'm going to ask is, I guess I'm not tracking
Okay.
where this story is going.
Everything had been going well.
Yeah.
For the day.
Yeah.
And then, boom, life happened.
So you get a call in the morning or whatever,
a text in the morning.
a text, and you're like, "Hey, I'll call you."
I'll call you.
Yeah.
Didn't put it in my calendar. You know what that does?
Yeah. Even if it's in your calendar
sometimes. And then I get this call, and the initial response just took me right out of all the happiness I was feeling, because it just drained for that instant. After the conversation, I was able to go through the steps.
Yeah.
And
right. But where I'm tracking is, maybe the world did exactly what it was supposed to do. You had a job to do that day, and that's why you didn't respond immediately, because the world knew, or God knew, that it was going to drain your energy, and you needed that energy to do what you needed to do, right? So it's not necessarily a negative thing, I think, but more of, hey, guess what? This happened because you needed it at this point in the day and not this point in the day. But a lot of times that's what we think. We look at it and go, man, I guess I got so busy, I let my person down. No, not necessarily.
Right.
Because that person had to, I mean, having you two blubbering and crying over it, might not have been what they needed at that point either. Right. So they had to deal with some things, and the world had to work that way. Now, if I don't know who it was, but you're pretty close with a lot of people, and if I don't hear from you, I'm picking up the phone. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Right. Like, hey, it's 8:30, 2 ball guys. Oh, shoot. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Because, and that's why I say I don't get upset, because, obviously we weren't supposed to be.
We didn't plan that.
We didn't plan that. Right.
That.
So the idea of, but I can take a look at it and say, hey, when things are going really well, and now all this chaos happens in your life or to you, that's that negative energy trying to fight back as you're pulling a lot of good energy, to me anyway. right? So to me, I don't know if that's a bad thing that happened to you at that point. That's all. I think it was how it was meant to be, because you needed to get through what you needed to get through. So did they, and then you shared that moment.
I appreciate the therapy.
Yeah. Yeah. Nate says, "Hey, I've been to your old house." Yep. And once you're in, you're in. Doesn't matter. New. Yeah. Bring steaks over. I can grill them up. Shana says, "I like to study the faces of shoppers in the middle of a mob theft. It's like reality is breaking and their minds are trying to make sense of it. We need the ability to center and not panic as these events are getting regular." I'm not tracking on that. I guess I don't.
Haven't been to many mob thefts
lately,
but I think she's probably talking about on the news. A few years ago there was a bunch of stuff started happening in one of the South Side communities in Chicago, where the people just started breaking windows and they're running out of the stores with boxes of Nikes out of the stores in their own community. And you think, how do you do that?
Well, listen, here's what, if I can give you a piece of advice. If you're watching on hashtag your pocket computer or the big one hanging on the wall, believe about half of what you see, right? And only about a third of what you hear. Now, if it's live, like we are together here, they're not, right? I can believe a lot more of what I see and what I hear if I'm sitting next to you and it's coming out of your mouth. But with the world the way it is, you have to anything that you see on the big screen or on your pocket computer, believe about half of what you see and only a third of what you hear.
So the boxing match between Trump and Biden is not really going to happen?
Yeah. Well, maybe Musk and Meta. I don't know. Anyway, that's what I would say, because people have gotten so good to deep fake. People have gotten. I mean, follow Nick Espinoza on the deep dive. Nick Espinoza on the deep dive here, 5:00 on Tuesdays, does a great job understanding this. He's a white hat hacker. He's done TED Talks. The guy is phenomenal. But if I were to tell you something, if you start following him and understanding the world as it is, you might just go, no wonder they sing the same song on every station. That's all. That's all.
A person who works also where our office is came by the other day and she goes, "Do you believe what they did now? They're allowing illegal aliens to become police officers." And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I looked up the bill she was talking about, and it said eligible immigrants, not illegal aliens.
Right.
But somewhere along the line, somebody mixed those two words up, and she got the thorn in her shorts, and she's out there just, and I'm like, here's what it really is. And I showed it to her. Well, that's not right either.
That's right.
Okay, we're all immigrants to this country. And unless you're an American Indian, your descendants came from somewhere else. Get over it and let's move on and stop spreading your hate.
That's it. But I mean, that's what two bald guys and a microphone's all about. Is come in, get your daily dose of encouragement. Understand that we're gonna try to be the pattern interrupt to a crazy world right now, right? And that's just the bottom line. That's what we want to do. Something good.
A couple of last minute there, or they?
Yeah, he said. Nate said he almost spit out his coffee when I heard a big one hanging. Hump day humor.
Toby.
What's up, Toby? How are you? Morning, boys. That happy place keeps me centered, grounded, and present. It allows me to wash whatever has gone on that day, both positive and negative, off, and gives me a fresh mental start.
Yeah, your happy places are out in the middle of the woods.
Hey, follow him. Hashtag my office is better than yours, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely. He's all over. We don't call them conspiracies anymore. We call them spoil alerts. Well, it's only a conspiracy until it's proven fact. Which the word conspiracy came out after JFK was murdered. but we can
Right.
go down that whole different direction.
With the
right?
magic bullet.
But the truth be told, there's so many good things happening, and there's so many
There's so many good people
know,
in the world.
If you're if you're getting caught up, if you're getting wound up, where is your happy place, right?
Amen.
And what I have had to come to understanding is my happy place is not on social media. My happy place is not in front of a television set. Right now, I will tell you that I have a regiment on Saturday and Sunday morning. I watch specific shows because that's all the TV basically that I watch. Right. And one is Maine Cabin Masters. Love it. Right. They just fix cottages and stuff up in Maine. Absolutely love it. It's kind of no brainer. Another is Black Dog Salvage. Good one. Right, just guys who scrap stuff is great, and Barnwood Builders. I love the Barnwood Builders, and all I do is watch this crew tear down a barn or make a log house. You know what? They don't even finish log; they just stack logs. I'm watching grown men play with Lincoln logs, life-size Lincoln logs. But to me, it's fascinating. I don't have to think. Right? There's no political agendas in these. There's no anything. So to me, I'm just like, it's good.
I'm like you. I'll sit with my wife and watch some of the things, but not really get into them. But I like to get into the National Geographic Channel and some of the shows on there. They have one where they drain the oceans, where now with their radar they can take away all the water.
Oh yeah, I've seen that's cool.
It's really cool, the technology they have. But some of the things they found down there, warships, and they can piece together what actually happened.
Yeah.
And that's
Atlantis. They found Atlantis. I think.
I don't know.
I haven't seen the show, but I've
Pretty cool.
seen like commercials for it.
I think they've gone 20,000 leagues under the sea. Well, maybe that's an old show.
That's good.
So, hey, guys, we're getting to the end of our time here. Great opportunity. Pattern interrupt. If you finding yourself in a pattern, find a happy place.
Yep.
Find a happy place. Some place where people don't judge you, where little things mean a lot, where you're comfortable. Like you taking your shoes off in the woods. When you get in your happy place, ideas and positivity just flow.
Yeah.
Love is unconditional, and imagination runs free. So that's the highlights of the happy place. If you got a place like that, great. If you don't, find one. Sit down and go. You're looking at our next show.
Today is the 16th. So we're talking about next week would be the 23rd. And here's what we're going to do. We talked a little bit about it today. Milestones. So when you set goals, you set a big goal, then you set the little milestones, little smaller goals going forward. Right. Well, I'm here to tell you that milestones in your life, milestones in your journey happen by accident. That's going to be what we're talking about. Milestones happen by accident. In other words, I did not plan that. Hey, listen, for all of us here at 21.6 thank you for getting caught in our happy place this morning. We hope that we can be a happy place for you every Wednesday morning right here with two bald guys and a microphone.
My name is Tim Stewart. I am Coach Papa, and I do approve this message. So God bless. Travel safe. It is time to get off the bench and get back in the game.
Two bald guys and a microphone. 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 Hello, we're back, and some people been wondering where we've been. It don't matter, cause right now it's happening. Same station, new day and time slot. Content forever is growing, we won't stop. Providing remedies for chemical brain freeze. And teaching reboot, stressing you believe. We're two bald guys and a microphone. We're glad to be back. It feels good to be home.